Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Success Academy. I'm Shashan Dias, and today we are going to be doing something a bit different. Alright, so all this time I have been doing videos by myself and I have been teaching you lessons regarding to IELTS. But now, one of the biggest issues that I saw when people come for my classes is that when they have to write an essay for the IELTS exam, they don't have ideas. They don't have good examples to use when it comes to the essay. And having good ideas, having good examples is so important when trying to elaborate on an IELTS essay. And usually my remedy would be go and look at podcasts, go and search themes related to the IELTS exam and try to watch those and generate some ideas. But one of the biggest problems is that there is no video, there is no podcast that directly talks about IELTS essays. Okay, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a podcast. I call it the Success Podcast, and what I want to do here is talk about IELTS essays in particular. All right, so we are going to select themes related to the IELTS exam, and we are going to look at essay topics related to the IELTS exam and have a discussion regarding these essays. Then you can watch these videos and generate a few ideas, generate examples when it comes to your own essay if you end up getting these themes. Okay, so I hope that these videos will be of value to you. Let us know down in the comments below if it is, and we will get started today. So to help me out with this discussion, I have with me my good friend Haseeb Hassan. Haseeb, how are you?
Not bad. Could be better. Okay. Could be drier.
Could be drier. Okay, so to give you some context, we decided to set things up today, and the whole universe has just been telling us don't do this podcast because it's just not our day. Because first of all, we couldn't connect the audio devices into one laptop, so now we are recording off two laptops, right? So editing this is going to be really hard. Right? And
it's raining, it's thundering, which is the worst. The mics don't want to work properly.
Yeah.
And we are in a sheltered roof and it's still leaking water and it's just drenching our entire set.
Yeah, it's raining. I mean, the table was wet, so we had to keep this ornamental cup to catch the rain.
Yeah, to make it look ornamental but like strategically also catch the leak.
Yeah. And Haseeb is wet.
Yeah, my right side is entirely wet. But that's fine, dude. Like, we are full sending this podcast today.
Today. We want to record an episode today. So, I mean, just let us know if this is beneficial to you, if you found value in this, because that would give us an inclination of whether to continue or not. All right, because if you find value, if you think that the ideas that we discuss here are useful, then definitely this is something that we will keep going. All right. So we are excited to get started. Haseeb, what is our topic today?
Our first topic is...
Okay, so this is an IELTS essay topic that we have decided to talk about today. We are not going to take the format of a debate necessarily. It's going to be a discussion, right?
Yeah,
so the first topic is...
Is it important for people to take risks both in professional and personal life?
Okay. Is it important for people to take risks both in their professional and personal lives? Okay. So, first of all, how would we approach this essay? We'd start with an introduction. We'd have a body. We'd have two body paragraphs and a conclusion. All right. So, what we are going to discuss today is essentially what you can include in these body paragraphs. Okay. So, to get started, Hasi, what do you think? Do you think people should take risks, or do you think that it's not really important to take risks in your life?
I think that perspective has changed for me personally the older I get. I think the younger version of me would be like, yeah, risk it all, dude. What do you got to lose? But the older you get, the more bills that pile up, the more responsibility you have to take in life. It's more like, okay, let's calculate risk a bit better. I'm still at a stage where I want to take risks, but I'm more calculating.
Oh, wait, now when you say get old, I mean we are not that old, right? so what do you mean? Like, okay, from which age did you feel that I want to go all in? I want to risk it all, and then switch to okay, maybe I should start calculating things a bit better?
Okay, bro, I think first of all, to the first part of your question, you said we are not that old.
Yeah.
But I think the world nowadays is just moving so fast that the idea of your old changes, right? Like maybe 10 years back, you were old when you were in your 40s. Like, yeah, you're still young in your 30s, go do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
But as technology improves and as like society moves like super fast, I would like to say I feel personally that we are kind of lagging behind. We are trying hard, but we are lagging behind. I'm sure everyone feels it. I'm just acknowledging my emotion. That being said, right now I am a bit more calculative of my risks in terms of like, let's say I need like a monthly income professionally to sort out my so if you asked me this question 2 years back, I'd be like, yeah, fuck monthly income. I'll live under a tent and figure my life out, right?
Yeah.
And I did do that. Like I literally slept at offices. I wouldn't go home. I just stayed there because the office I was working at was aligned with my goal. But nowadays I'm like, no, I need a steady job that can pay the amount I need to sustain myself, plus pay the amount that I can use to invest in business, because you kind of need money to invest in stuff as well. So yeah, right now I'm in a more calculated stage in terms of that, where I'm like, no, I still need to be smart about this, get a good income coming in, and then also work on my business simultaneously.
Okay, so we'll break this question down. So there are two components to this question: taking risks in our personal life and taking risks in our professional life. So if you are writing an answer for this question, I think the best way to divide this, especially if you agree with it, if you say, okay, you have to take risks in your life.
Yeah.
The best way to write the answer to this question would be, one paragraph would be about taking personal risk, one paragraph would be about taking professional risk. When we talk about personal risk, what does that mean? What would you clarify or classify as a personal risk?
Finding love. That's crazy. Or try this.
Yeah.
Finding love outside of your culture.
Oh wow. Okay.
Try that.
Okay, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll elaborate. So on a personal level, I'm dating someone outside of my culture.
Okay.
I'm Muslim.
Okay.
And our family is open about it, but there's still challenges. And so the risk factor is that when you're young and you're messing around, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're looking for a long-term partner, you're basically looking to invest in someone who the investment in itself, like being with this person itself, can cause like your family that you grew up with to have issues with you, and certain connections might get cut off. But it's fine that you're doing it with this. But if you're doing that, dude, you better make sure that this person is someone you can emotionally rely on, and it's a do or die person. Because if that person's also have their own issues, and like you can't really rely on them, and if you take that leap, now you're screwed.
Okay, so to put that into context, if you're writing, let's say, your first body paragraph, right? You could talk about how everybody in their personal lives have to make this decision. Maybe not cross-culturally, but we all have to choose a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we are taking a risk by going with one person.
Yeah, but there's what, you want like multiple people, bro? What's up? Huh?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the risk component. The fact that we have to choose one person
for the rest of it. I mean, I feel like that's a very easy decision for most people to make. To be like, I'm definitely going to stick to one person and not multiple people.
Definitely, yeah. The decision itself is not hard, but the risk lies in the fact that are you choosing the right person?
Yeah, for you.
For you.
Compatibility is of utmost
So if you choose, again, when you're elaborating this answer, you can say if you choose the wrong partner, your life could take a different trajectory.
Yeah,
Divorce, you could end up losing your property, your wealth.
Half your money. Unless you transfer it to your mom.
Yeah. What was the name of that guy?
Hakimi, the legend.
Okay, to tell you that story, there was a footballer, right? Who, for those of you who haven't heard this story, there was a footballer called
Hakimi.
Hakimi,
Yeah.
right? So this footballer had essentially, I'm not sure of the dynamics of it, but all his property, all his wealth was in his mother's name,
Yeah.
right? So when his wife divorced him and tried to get 50% of his...
There's a, don't know if she tried or not. It's just that she wasn't eligible for it at all.
Yeah. So basically, I think in the
She
US...
couldn't even if she wanted.
Yeah. So in the US, what happens is, okay, if you go into a divorce, a major proponent of your wealth, right? I'm not sure if it's 50% or I'm not sure the percentage, but a big chunk of your wealth gets taken by...
Half and half.
Half and half, is
It's
it?
the point you get married, every dollar you earn after you get married is considered as a nuptial income. I think
Okay.
that's what they call it. So both of y'all, it counts as, okay, every money you earn from now on, both of y'all earn
Both of you all earn it. Okay.
it. So,
Yeah. So technically, when she divorced, she should have got 50% of his wealth, but she couldn't get anything simply because everything was registered in his mother's name.
what a G.
What a G, what a legend.
What a legend. But also,
Yeah.
guy is not the best of guys also. There's a lot of allegations against him.
Maybe. Yeah, but that's true. But there's so many instances where marriages have gone wrong and the man has got the
just
worst
look at
end
the
of the stick.
statistics. Every statistic says that marriage goes down the shitter every time, especially in this day and age.
In the US, especially in Western countries, I would say.
Yeah,
I
but
was
isn't Sri
actually-
Lanka also trending more towards that side?
Colombo, maybe.
Because
but
we
I
are
don't
now
think-
we are technologically like new, right?
No, but like I said, it's mainly. See, Colombo is very westernized, and I think the urban areas
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Sri Lanka are maybe trending towards that. But
You think that's
I-
a good thing?
that's not the point of this conversation. Maybe we can get into it another day, but just to touch on that, I think yes, Sri Lanka is going towards that trend. The Western culture, marriage is just, it's gone to the dogs. I was just having a conversation with my boss the other day. He was telling me more than 51% of marriages end up in divorce in the States. That's more
Again,
than
is
half.
that a bad thing?
It's a terrible thing. So, I don't know what kind of concept you have. You think it's a good thing?
No, it's sad.
It's sad.
It's
bad.
sad, but like you want like okay, like I'm talking from like, let's say, if your entire whole idea is you gotta like persevere for a relationship to work, which you must, where do you draw the line? Like, do you tolerate abuse? Do you tolerate stuff like that? And
51% of marriages don't end up with abuse or
bro,
anything
okay, yeah,
necessarily
abuse,
bad.
but like, okay, no, I would say that 51%, yeah, of course, a percentage of that might be just like them getting bored, but there could be infidelity involved. There could be like abuse involved. Like, are you supposed to tolerate through that when you're with a partner?
Probably not. I mean, probably
Yeah.
there should be a certain level of flexibility. If a marriage is in such a situation,
Yeah.
it can break up.
No, why this is important to me because like I'm at a marriage age, I guess.
Sorry?
I'm at an age where I should be getting married.
Okay.
My mom is like pestering me, and I'm scared.
So yeah, that is a risk that you would end up taking. You know, and especially for you,
That's a
since you were
risk.
talking about cross culture, cross religion.
Yeah, that's
That
an even
is
bigger risk.
very tricky. So, if you're elaborating this answer, in your personal life, a risk you can take is related to the partner that you choose. So, it could either go in a good trajectory or it could go really down the drain. What would be another personal risk that we could end up taking?
Personal risks.
A personal risk. So, we've already given them one example to think about. Maybe a second one, so that there are options.
I think I don't know if this is considered personal, but like, let's say moving somewhere.
The place you live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving out somewhere could be very risky. Just letting everything you know and you know, like everything
Okay.
you're familiar with.
Moving
behind.
to, you're saying, a different country.
Country, city. Like, let's say you live in Moratuwa.
Okay,
move
we'll-
to Colombo full time.
No, we'll talk about this in a practical sense so that they can really understand it.
Yeah.
I agree with cross city moving, but now what's happening in Sri Lanka is that everyone is going to another country.
Another country, yeah.
Very good. So if you want another example for this, that could be something that you use. Moving, leaving everything you have, leaving everything you know, and moving to an entirely different country. So everyone today, I mean, that's the reason you guys are watching this video.
Yeah.
You guys are doing IELTS. Why are you doing IELTS? You are trying to move to a different country, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, whatever the country is. That's a risk, right? Because there is no guarantee that just because you move to Australia, you're going to have a better life than you had here. What do you think?
Yeah. In fact, I know many friends that a good 60% of them make it, but some of them just don't, and then they have to like do like daily wage jobs just to like keep up.
I had a friend, he moved to Australia,
Yeah.
right? And he was working multiple jobs. He was working, I think, 2 full-time jobs, right? He was working during the day, working during the night. He used to sleep in his car because he was also studying. He was going to university. And he could not work more than 20 or 30 hours a week, if I'm not mistaken. So he was working illegally, but he had to work in order to earn the money.
Yeah.
He couldn't go home. He had to sleep in his car most of the days.
Uh-huh.
He didn't have time to make meals for himself. He had to buy everything. But because he didn't have money, or he had to save the money he was earning, he had to cook one day of the week, and then he would eat that same thing throughout the entire week, right? Like meal prepping, basically. And this guy got depressed. This guy got depressed to the point, and this is not a guy that even believed in depression.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like a macho, even Ragarite.
Yeah.
Right? He was not a guy that ever thought he could get so low mentally. You know, tough guy, right? He just lost it. He had to come back here, right? And in the end, he ended up going to the States for a much better offer. He got a 100% scholarship.
Yeah.
And so that turned out well for him. But if he decided to stay in Australia, he would have gone mad. And he was actually considering, I think, ending his life.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah. So
That's sad.
he made a good decision in coming back and then applying to a different
Nothing's
country.
worth your mental health, man.
Yeah.
Nothing's
So
worth your mental health.
in terms of, and there are so many stories like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, there was-
Even my father. I mean, my father didn't go through like. I think he got depressed, but he didn't go to like that extreme of an end. He went to Qatar. He worked, and then after a year, he had to come back because he just missed his family. He just realized that earning money at what cost? Yeah, for my family, but I'm not even seeing them. Like I might as well go back home, find a job there, and then earn a little bit less, but I'll be happy with my family.
And what's interesting is, now, of course, if you go to Australia, US, countries like that, I think immediately even your minimum wage is 10 times higher than what you're
Oh yeah,
getting
Yeah.
here. Right, true enough. But I see a lot of people going to Dubai, Qatar, you know, countries like that. And for Sri Lankans who don't make it to the top tier,
Yeah.
people
sure.
who are just looking for jobs, your entry level salary is about, what, in Sri Lankan rupees, about 200k, 250k.
Yeah. Oh, lower.
All
I
could
know
be
people
lower.
who go lower.
Maybe, right?
150.
Okay. Now, in Sri Lanka, you might be thinking, hey, 250, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but you have to compare it to the living standards
In Dubai,
in
that's expensive.
That's a lot.
Right? So you're taking a massive risk, because if you don't find a job that pays you about 400, 500, 600,000, in Sri, and again, we are talking Sri Lankan, again, 600,000 might sound like a lot to you, but in Dubai, you're average. Maybe, you're average, maybe even below average.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a risk. It's a risk that you're taking. Even if you go, I know people who went to Australia, they couldn't continue their degree, so they had to work a minimum wage job just to make ends meet. And they had to really, really work hard for 5, 6, 7 years before they could really get established in those countries as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
you're just going for the opportunity. There's no guarantee that
The opportunity will work.
work. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another point that you can use for personal risks that you
Also,
would have
just
to take.
to add to that, the social and cultural aspect, the risks that come with that, with the social and cultural aspects, like for example, the fact that you get so many people complain about a culture shock.
Yeah.
Like just going there and being like, holy shit, integrating into this society is driving me nuts. Right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
even worse, and I don't wish this on anyone, some people experience blatant racism.
Yeah.
Like just your skin color just
Yeah.
doesn't help you go anywhere, and then that's just more problems that you have to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could be like, tough it out, bro. But, gets to you. It gets
Yeah.
to you. And that's risky.
That is risky. That is risky. And I know people, I don't know about blatant racism, like outright racism, but I know people who have gone through certain things, especially in Australia. I mean, I don't know about the States and all of that. I assume it's the same. But in Australia, I've had friends who've like, people have come up to them and been like, go back to your own country. Or,
Yeah. You freaking Asian.
yeah. So,
You know also,
yeah.
like take Western countries. I don't know if is it Australia Western or Eastern? Which one is it? It's Eastern. What is it?
Australia's West, I don't know.
Like what, beyond America Western? Or is it like, do you
no,
count it
Australia's
as
below Ashubaga?
Yeah, but it's more towards the eastern side. So what is it? Western or Eastern? Either way,
Yeah.
all these like white countries that are English speaking that were basically colonized by Brits,
Yeah.
the word Asian changes with each country. You know what they mean when they say Asian in the US?
The Chinese.
The Chinese.
Yeah.
But do you know what they mean when they say Asian in
Australia.
the UK? In the UK?
Asian. So us, I guess Indians.
Indians.
Indians, yeah.
But in Australia, it's Sri Lankans.
Really, yeah?
Pure Sri Lankans. Sri Lankans
Wow.
and Bangladeshis.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So when they say Asians, they're like, go back to your country. You have to be like, which one?
Okay. So those are 2 points that you all can really think about and elaborate. Personal risks would be choosing your partner for life.
Yeah.
And also a
Moving.
personal risk would be moving to, in this context, a different country.
Indulging
Right.
in, do you want me to add more?
Yeah, you could.
Indulging in assets. Indulging in, what do you call it? What do you call them? Luxuries.
Indulging in luxuries.
Yeah.
How is that a personal risk per
Well,
se?
I mean, unless you're like a filthy rich person who's capable of indulging in luxuries, everyone has the need to want to indulge in luxuries, right? That's why we all work hard in the first place, because we want to live a comfortable life.
Yeah.
But let's say you're young, you're earning like 100K, 200K a month, and you're like, I want an iPhone. Okay, that's going to cost you 2 months of your salary. I don't care. I'm taking it. And then
Yeah, they apply for loans.
the monthly
They apply for loans, credit
freaking
cards.
credit cards and
Yeah.
monthly payments.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
take those things, and then later
That's-
on something
that's-
happens, and the
Yeah.
bills pile up. They're like, oh shit, now I gotta pay for, or their job, you lose their job, and
That's just stupid, I guess. If you don't have to buy the latest iPhone or a MacBook or whatever.
yeah,
You need to first learn how to manage your money.
yeah,
You need to be smart about that. So I don't know to what extent we can classify that as taking a risk, because that's not taking a risk. That's just being stupid. See, you have to choose your life partner.
Yeah.
Right. So that is a risk. You have to make that decision. It's not a decision outside of the decisions you have to make. It's not a stupid decision. It's a risky decision.
yeah.
Moving to a country, again, most people feel compelled to move to a different country. So that again is a decision you have to make that ends up being a risk. Indulging in luxuries is just stupidity.
So there you go, guys. Don't write indulging
Don't
luxury
write that.
as an answer.
Don't write that as an answer.
This is why you pay this guy big money.
Right, yeah. So see, the thing is with IELTS exams as well, you're not really awarded marks for content necessarily, but the thing is, the person who marks the exam is a person. Now, with regards to PTE, where it's marked by an AI system, right? With IELTS, it's marked by a person. So whatever said and done, regardless of the fact that no marks are actually awarded for content, if your content is off, right, even if it's grammatically correct, your vocabulary is good, whatever, you still get a portion of your marks deducted.
Oh,
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
For being
subconsciously, for being dumb.
for being dumb. Don't be dumb.
Yeah. No, but to a certain extent that
Yeah.
happens. Subconsciously you feel like this answer just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll cut marks. Whereas PT, it's a bit different,
Mm-hmm.
right? But with IELTS, you have to be smart about what you're writing and see, even the two examples we came up with,
Yeah.
right? Even the third one, indulging in luxuries, actually, you won't believe, people that come for classes, I wouldn't say everybody, but at least 65% of people, that's their main problem. When it comes to speaking, when it comes to writing, they just don't have ideas. When you suddenly ask them a question, even if their English is good, they can't think of an answer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we are doing this completely spontaneously, and of course we plan the topic beforehand, but most of the ideas that are coming through are spontaneous.
Yeah, it's a very fresh conversation.
Very fresh
Thought about it
conversation.
at all,
Okay.
yeah.
Now moving on to the second option or the second paragraph you can write, which is professional risks.
Damn.
There's a lot to talk about there, I guess.
Yeah.
So what do you think in terms of professional risk? Where do we start? Like, what's the first risk we can talk about that people have to make?
It's basically your 9 to 5 versus you
Business.
doing your own thing, right?
Yeah.
Follow your dreams.
In terms of
Bro,
that,
you think that's overrated, bro? Following your dreams?
I really think so. That's what I was going to say. See, everybody wants to do their own thing now. Everybody. Like, everybody I talk to, when I ask them, okay, what's your goal, what's your dream? Everybody wants to do their own thing. But the thing is, not everyone is cut out to do their own thing.
I think it's more like okay, I'm being a real downer. Like, I'm still gonna work on what I want to work on.
Yeah.
Hands down. But the whole idea of like you follow your dreams is such a like a Western.
It
culture,
is,
like
it
a
is,
Western
it is,
propaganda.
it is.
Like, it's like, yo, you look at actors, you look at singers, and you look at their larger than life lifestyle that they, and you're like, oh my god, they live so perfect. Like, people love them. They have like all of these things, and then turns out as social media is there, and you get a glimpse into their personal lives, it's like, bro, it's like, no, you just earn more money than me.
Yeah.
Nothing else is different.
And the effort they have to put to get there is
Yeah.
insane, bro. The whole, have you read about or heard about Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin, yeah.
The guy who played the Joker,
Yeah.
right? The stuff he has done for roles is insane. Like, he has starved himself to the point where he just looks like a stick.
Mm.
And then certain roles, he has gone full out and then just got buff.
Mm.
Now, you are a fitness trainer.
Yeah,
How hard or easy is that to do?
that's hard, dude.
It's
Dude.
insane, right? It's not just
putting
hard.
on weight, you have to eat to a point where you throw up, basically.
Yeah, and losing weight to that level. Have you seen him?
Bro, starvation, yeah.
It's mad. Like, if you go and search him up, I can't remember the name of the movie, but there's a role where he just looks malnourished.
I think you're talking about Christian Bale, not Joaquin Phoenix.
no, even Christian Bale also, yes.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix as well.
Ah, really?
The guy who played the Joker. Because I was reading up about him after the movie The Joker. He has a crazy history.
Damn.
Right, he has a crazy history. But Christian Bale also, I agree. That guy has gone through some mad transformations.
Dude, we've been trying to get a six-pack for like so long. It's so
For
freaking
25
hard.
years.
So freaking hard.
That's insane. No, but eating more is also not something we can fathom, isn't it? Because when we say eat more, I used to be at a point where I used to eat 6 meals a day, right? But for me, I just liked it. I just indulged in it. It was not something that I thought that I'm going to put on weight now, or I'm going to get a whip now. I just like food,
Yeah.
right? But when they talk about eating to build muscle, it's very different. It's just they're drinking chicken.
chicken milkshakes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
By the way, it's not that hard. Pay me money, I'll show you.
No, Haseeb, don't use this as a platform to advertise.
Bro, what the hell?
Right? So, yeah, to get to where they are, it's a different kind of commitment. You have to be a different type of person altogether. So, not everyone can get there. Not everyone can be that way.
Yeah.
So, when you make that distinction between should I do a 9 to 5 and should I do my own thing, you really have to ask yourself, do I have what it takes to do my own thing? Do I have the discipline? Do I have the motivation? And also, do I have the finances to kind of support myself while I do my own thing?
Yeah, that's the
Because
stage
unless
I'm-
you're in a type of business where immediately you start making
Yeah.
at least not 100,000, I would say maybe 50 to 60,000 a month, where you can then survive, right?
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of money, or are you able to make that kind of money instantly? Which with a lot of businesses is impossible. right?
Yeah.
I would say for most people in Sri Lanka, we live with our parents, right? So for us, up till at least the age of 25, 26, we are okay.
Also, by the way, nothing wrong with living with your parents until like you're at least.
That's Sri Lanka culture.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we live with our parents.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
you should be able to sustain yourself to a point where if you wanted to move out, you should be able to move out. But like, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, and see even the fact that you're telling that
Yeah.
means that you have been influenced to a certain degree by, again, the Western ideology.
Yeah.
Because in Sri Lanka, living up to even 30 with your parents is not a big deal.
Yeah. Like, some people live their lifetime with their
Yeah,
parents.
some people live their lifetime with their parents. I mean, my grandma used to live at my house, bro. And my parents used to live at my grandma's house right up until they moved here. And that was after they were like 35. So they were married and they were living there.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with living alone either. Like, it's
Nothing
a
wrong with living
great
alone
thing
either.
if you can
Yeah.
achieve that.
Yeah,
But,
of
like,
course. No, but my point is,
Don't be ashamed to like
when
try.
you are trying to start your own thing, you have to consider what are the risks associated with that, right? Starting your when you talk about professional life, I think there are two things to be considered. Most people who go the job route, you need to decide: is the job I'm going for something I'm going to enjoy, something that I'm willing to put my whole time and effort into. The second option is the distinction between do I do a 9 to 5 or do I do my own business, right? Now, let's talk about these two things separately so that can count as two examples, right? So people can either go and say, okay, when you're choosing the job you want to go in, how do you make that decision? If you're choosing between 9 to 5 and business, how do we go about doing that, right? Let's talk about the job, choosing a job first, right? One thing I hate in people that are applying for jobs is when they say, hey, I'm only going to work from 8 to 5. Don't call me outside of hours. I'm not going to do any work outside of hours. I need to have work-life balance. Something I learned from my father, right? If you are doing a job and you're working for someone else, there is no 9 to 5. You're working 12 to 12.
Yeah.
If your boss calls you at 4 in the morning, you pick up the phone. If your boss calls you at 10 in the night, you pick up the phone, right? Whatever he tells you to do, you do it. Because you're getting paid a salary and you better work for the boss.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
I work a full-time job,
Yeah.
right? Outside of running my own thing, I do a full-time job. Whatever time my boss calls me, I answer the phone.
Yeah.
If I miss his call, I call him back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And I think everybody, you take any big company, Mars Holdings, Brandix, whatever, any big company in Sri Lanka, right, John Keels, whatever, everyone that has made it to the top,
Have
those
done that.
have done that.
Yeah.
Anyone that's a senior manager, director of the company, a chief, any C-level, right, they have all done that. If you talk to any of them, they'll say, when I was working at the bottom, I worked 24/7.
And that's how you stand above the rest.
That's how you stand above the rest, bro. I have a friend. He's running a very successful business, running a restaurant. But he was telling me when he started off in real estate, right? He was the new guy, and he wasn't getting the best deals, right? So what he started to do was most guys would make like one sale a month, 1 to 2 sales a month. Even the top performers would make like 2 to 3 sales a month, right? And the effort they would put in to do that wasn't much because they have already established the contacts and it's just a matter of reaching out to the right people.
Yep.
What this guy did was he said, I started working maybe 4 or 5 times harder than these guys. I started calling more people, reaching out to more people, getting in touch with more people, being in the right networks. I started working Saturday, Sunday, 24/7. And he said, within just a few months, when it came time to get the promotion, they considered me over the top guy who was already there, the guy who had been there the longest and was due for promotion. They chose this guy. right? And he said, what is the reason? Because I was working 4 to 5 times harder, and I was putting in more hours. I was more accessible. I was reaching out to more customers than the guy who had been there.
Yeah.
And so most people, like, bro, when we when we call people for interviews, I can't believe they say that. Like, some people actually what they say is, hey, I'm okay to work the time you want me to work, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. But outside of that, don't call me. And I actually don't answer. Some people don't answer once their clock-in time is off. They don't answer. And now here's where the risk factor plays in. If you choose a job that you don't really like to do, right, then you're not going to put in that effort. Because I remember when I did my first job, right, I think you remember the company I worked for. I don't want to say it, but I used to work for a particular company. I used to go exactly at 8. I used to come there at about 7:30, stay in my car outside because I hated going in.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember, right? And I used to go in at 8, and as soon as it hits 5 on the clock, I'll leave. I'll never answer a call once I'm out. Right? And that is simply because I hated my job.
Yep.
Right? I was there for 6 months. I thought to myself, you know what? I can't do this. I need to leave in 6 months. So I left. Right? But now the job that I'm in, I love it. Right?
Yeah. Remember a conversation we had before?
About
Either you pick a 9 to 5 where you have to work like 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Or you pick a job that gives you freedom, but gives you the illusion of a freedom, but you work 12 to 12.
Yeah, so I think the reason I love my current job
Because
they gave me what I wanted, which was freedom, right? So in this job that I'm working, and you know, when I used to tell this to people before, as in, I used to tell them, if I ever do a full-time job, this is the kind of job I want. People used to say, you know, you have to be blessed by God to get a job like this, right? But actually, the job I got, they don't care what times I work. They don't care where I work, as long as the work gets done. Right? And so I can work from anywhere. And that, for me, more than even the salary or anything else, that was the main reason for me to choose the job. And I honestly enjoy the work.
Corporates don't work like that, though.
Standard
corporates don't work like
stuff. But see, even in corporates, now my dad works a corporate job, right? And he's been in corporate his entire life. He loves his job. He loves his job. So he'll answer his call at any time.
A lot of people like, so it's like, what kind of a person are you? Do you first want more money? Because if that's the case, if you're going to work 9 to 5 and be a guy who's just working 9 to 5, you're not going to get a lot of money because you're not adding any value to them beyond what they need. Right? So if you, let's say you're a guy who likes the organized factor of a 9 to 5 where your life is organized, you have a time that you wake up, you go to work, and then you're off at some time, and you work hard at that, then you can make it well. So it's risky if you're a person who is very ambitious and you want your own thing and you settle into a 9 to 5, then the risk factor is mostly the fact that you won't be happy.
So when we consider going into a job, choosing the right job, choosing the job that makes you stimulated, happy, excited
to work for is an important thing too. And like, it's easy to be excited for a job when you just start off.
Of course.
Even that job you didn't like going, you were like, I like this. Okay, give it a few months, bro. And then Bugger calls me in the I have to go to work.
It was hard. It was very hard. It was probably one of the most difficult
Side note, have you cried going to a job and being like, I don't want to be here anymore? Same thing, dude. I think everyone's done that.
Everyone's done that, bro.
Secretly, everyone's done that and been like, this sucks.
I have. I hated my first corporate job. It was...
I think everyone hates their first. Like, very rarely does everyone find their first job their dream job.
I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I went down a very dark mental path when I got into that job. But I think that's the risk you have to take, right? You have to really choose the job that you want to go into and make sure it's something you enjoy, something you like, something you're excited for when you choose that particular job. So that is one way that you could elaborate on that answer. When choosing a job, right, when choosing a company to work for, you are taking a risk. and you need to make sure that the right choice is made. And if not, you need to take the risk of leaving that company
And starting
and
out
then
thing,
starting over. You have to,
which is risky in itself.
which is risky
Bro,
in and of itself.
imagine working hard for a compensation monthly. Now imagine working thrice as hard with with compensation not even being there,
Yeah.
because that's what starting a business is.
Yeah,
You
now
start-
we come to the second point,
Yeah.
which is the distinction between, do I work for a company or do I start my own business? So you can go ahead with
Yeah,
what you were
because
saying.
like starting a business, when I started like doing fitness, the first 3 months is nothing. Like nothing. No one cares for you. Like you try to put your stuff out there, people like watch it and be like, okay, what makes you special? So you have to work hard, figure it out, convince people that you have actual knowledge, that you can add value to people's lives, and then they'll trust to invest their hard-earned cash into you to improve their lives, right? But for that time, so I did the thing of like, I'm quitting my job and starting my own thing. So I didn't have any cash. I just had money that I saved up. So using that saved up money only, I did the whole, did I fuck up the mic?
No, you don't swear.
No, sorry. Did I hit the mic? Where was I? Yeah. So I had saved up money and I started it. And then those 3 months, like I literally survived through my savings. And for those 3 months, I didn't get any income. But eventually, because I liked the thing I was starting, I was able to like persevere and get like clients and like then have like a certain amount of cash, like you said, like 60K a month or something to survive at the start.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, that's great. And even then, it's like, okay, now I pray to God these buggers stay, and I pray to God like, they don't get any like personal matters coming in that will prevent them from paying me cash. Should I repeat that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because the key came.
No, that's...
Yeah, I pray to God like nothing happens to them so that they can keep paying me cash. So it's a lot of like, a lot of uncertainty and a lot
Now,
of
the
like,
business or the path that you decided to take was there an initial investment involved in that? In terms
the
of
way I
money?
went for it, no.
No.
No, the way I went
So
for it, no.
that would be, see again, now if you're starting your own business as opposed to doing a job, when you're starting a business, what you also have to think of is, do I have enough money to start the business? Do I need an
Yeah.
initial capital?
Yeah.
Now, again, even for you and even for me, teaching didn't require an initial capital.
No, just your phone.
Just a phone or a laptop or whatever,
Yeah.
just to be able to teach,
But
reach an
all of
audience.
this came from the money we basically worked up from
Yeah.
literally nothing.
Which was
And then we
literally nothing.
eventually invested in like
But then,
equipment.
so the risk factor came from, okay, now for me personally, I left my corporate job and I started my own thing. I was doing it for some time before I joined back into a company, right? And let me tell you the reason for that. The reason I joined the company is because I liked having that stable income,
Yeah.
right? And so I didn't go for just any company. I went for the company that gave me the deal I wanted,
Yeah.
right? And so I was lucky, I was blessed, and I'm thankful to them for taking me in, right, with the deal that I wanted. And so I was able to use that to funnel my business. Make sense? So again, I took some steps to mitigate that risk. But I believe taking that risk was important, because at the end of the day, when you're 50, 60 years old and you have to retire,
Yeah.
if you have only done a job, what are you retiring to? You're not retiring to any active income unless you have taken a risk, either started your own thing or you have done some good investments.
You retire into your pension.
You'll be retiring to your pension.
Well, that is assuming you get a job that pays you pension.
Yeah, if you're doing a government job, basically,
Yeah.
right? Because private companies don't give you pension. Right?
Some do, some don't.
No one gives pension.
No, my dad gets pension.
Huh?
My dad gets pension.
From a private company?
Yeah, Maliban Textiles.
Really, yeah?
Yeah. They
I
are-
thought it was only government that
No, I
paid
think
pension.
they-
Maybe gratuity.
What is EPF?
EPF, ETF is different, bro. EPF, ETF is a one-time payment.
Okay, yeah. My dad doesn't get pension.
Yeah, pension is for government employees.
Employees, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, sorry, Provident Fund, right?
Employee Provident Fund, right? EPF, right? And ETF is Employee Trust Fund, right? That's different. That's a one-time payoff, right? So my point is, unless you are, planning to retire into nothing, it's important to take the risk of starting something, maybe a good investment plan, maybe another business of your own. So taking that risk, I believe, is 100% important, because otherwise you're going to be left with nothing, right?
Yep.
So those are the two examples you can really elaborate on. If you're going in the form of a job, then you need to choose a job that you like, that you have good earning potential. And if you don't find such an opportunity, you leave, you regroup, and you reapply. If you're going the other route, okay, I'm going to start a business. You need to take the risk of starting a business, absolutely. And simultaneously, if you feel that to mitigate the amount of risk you're taking, you can do a different job on the side, by all means, go for it. But that doesn't mean you compromise on the job or the business.
Yep.
You need to give equal attention to
What
both.
I'm gathering from this is it's risky either way.
It's risky either way.
Speak
If
your
you do a
poison.
job, it's risky.
Yeah.
If you start a business, it's risky.
Yeah.
You need to, either way, it's a risk.
Yeah.
You need to take
One
the right
is less
risk.
riskier than the other, but it's pick your poison, right?
It's pick your poison. So at the end of the day, to answer the question of should we take risks in our personal and professional lives, I don't think anyone goes through their life without taking risk.
At all, yeah.
Because at some point, in your personal or professional, you have to take a risk
I think either you consciously take that,
or unconsciously take it.
not or you forced to by life.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah. Either you consciously take it,
God agrees.
either you consciously take it. I agree with what you say. Either you consciously take it or you are
You're
forced to take it by life. Absolutely. So I don't know if we can disagree with this topic and say that you don't have to take risks in your personal life. I feel that if you get this essay or even a similar theme to this, you should always go with, yes, I agree that risks should be taken. And so here are the risks. Here are the personal risks. Here are the professional risks.
Yeah.
Just to explore the other side, do you think we can say that risks should not be taken in life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If you're like a monk, you don't need to take risks.
Yeah.
Actually, that was a joke. But like, there are people who value, what's it called? Being a minimalist. Living a minimalistic lifestyle.
That's tricky, bro. I feel like the people...
I think it's tricky for us to understand it because we are ambitious. We visualize nice things. We want comfortable lives. We want to work hard, get to somewhere.
I feel like the people who you're talking about, the minimalists, right? There are two groups of those. One, people who were rich before and then decided, okay, you know what? There's more to life than money.
Okay, yeah.
Let me dumb it down.
But those are just hippies. Like, not hippies, but per se. Those are just like the rich kids who like are too rich and spoiled.
No. Maybe, okay, Hari. But my point is, that's one group of people.
Yeah.
People who were rich before, who have experienced wealth,
Yeah.
and then they realize there's more to life than that, so they bring it down.
Yeah,
The second group of people is who have never been rich before.
yeah.
They can never be rich, or they never want to put in the effort to be rich, and so they just settle for subpar life.
I think there's a third group. And
Which
that
is?
is the third group is just people who just don't care. They don't care to be respected. They don't care to be... I'm in a good way. I'm not saying like... Because we all want to be somebody. We all want to be respected in society. You and me. Right?
Yeah.
Right? They're like, yeah, you can respect me if you want. If not, you can. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to live like my life peacefully and as minimalist as possible. I've met a couple of people like that.
Okay.
I think for people like that, if they want to go abroad and like live, I don't know, minimalistically abroad and they're doing IELTS, you'll be like, no, you don't have to. Depends on your priorities in life.
Yeah.
If you're ambitious, risk comes with ambition.
Yeah.
But if you're not and you just want a minimalist lifestyle, you don't have it. But maybe they have to take personal risks. Like, do they live as a loner for the rest of their lives or do they get married? Do they make kids? So, yeah.
Yeah.
So either way, they are taking risks. Yeah.
Yeah, either which way, I don't think
They'll
you
have to
can.
take risks.
Yeah. I don't think life can function without us taking any risks.
Yeah.
So I think the only way to approach this topic is by saying, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
People have to take risks.
I mean,
and then
dude, like
elaborate.
think of you watching. Think of it. You're doing IELTS because you want to go abroad, which means you're risking going abroad.
Yeah. You can live a pretty decent life here if you want to.
Yeah.
if you're again, like I said, if you're willing to either work hard and make yourself successful, or if you want to, live a moderate, average life, you can settle in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, like there are some hella rich Sri Lankans, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you want to work hard and you want to
Crazy
build
rich
something
Sri Lanka.
here, you can live luxuriously.
Yeah, you can.
Bro, I have this student. He is, again, I don't want to say names and companies because I don't know if they will want to be mentioned.
No.
So I'm just going to keep it as Mr. X, right?
Yeah.
Mr. X is the owner of a $1 billion company, or $1 million company, right? He runs one of the most successful student transfer agencies. He sends people abroad, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's probably one of the number 1 or number 2 in the country. He comes to me for public speaking training, right? He owns massive hotel chains in Sri Lanka. He's the owner, like outright owner. And he came from not such a rich background, actually a poor background. Like he comes from a very rural part in the country, and from ground zero, he has built himself up to where he is now. So I asked him, why didn't you go abroad? And he said, I always knew I could make something for myself here and I wanted to give back to the country, which is why I stayed here. Now, different countries are calling me to open up hotel chains in their countries. Australia, Canada, proper English-speaking white countries are calling me to come and open hotel chains there. And it would be so much easier to do it there. Because he says, I don't have to pay bribes, right? I can get all the clearances because they are inviting me to do it.
Lower taxes.
Whereas lower taxes, maybe not lower taxes because Canada, Australia has a very high tax percentage.
Depending on the country. Lower taxes.
Dubai and all might be different, but yeah. But definitely lower fees, lower bribes to be paid, right? And he was telling me in Sri Lanka, like I have to pay a massive bribe to everybody involved in order to get my hotels up and running, right? Including from, top down, if you know what I mean.
Damn.
Right? And so he was like, but still, I am willing to take the risk here and stay here because I love my country and I want to give back. So you get people like that. So he's a guy that built from zero to hero. You know what I mean? So we have to respect that, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he stayed here and took that risk. So,
And it paid off for him.
and it paid off him. And maybe there are people who have tried and failed.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day...
Aren't you glad it paid off?
Huh?
Aren't you glad it paid off? Because he's paying you for public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everything you do is a risk. If you stay here, it's a risk. If you go abroad, it's a risk. If you choose the partner you love, that's a risk. If you do a 9 to 5, it's a risk. That's professional.
Yeah.
If you start a business, it's a risk. So these are 4 things that you can elaborate on if you ever get this topic. So I think this was an insightful conversation.
What do you gather from this?
What do you mean?
Is that your phone ringing?
Yeah.
That means stop recording.
No, this is downstairs.
Ah.
Yeah.
We don't have to wait for it to stop ringing, right?
Yeah, we don't.
So what do you gather from this conversation? Life sucks. It's risk.
No, it's not.
You're born.
Life is
and it's
exciting because we have to take risks. Because if we didn't have to take risks and if we had to live our lives in a very monotonous way, where everything was just planned out for us,
It wouldn't feel good.
It wouldn't feel good. We are stimulated because we have to take risks.
Yeah.
As Andrew Tate rightfully says, life without stress is not a life worth living. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. So with that, we are done with our conversation today. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. And if you did, please let us know down in the comments below. If you're watching this on our webinar group, please drop a message on the group. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to know your feedback. Share this with a friend if you found this useful. And till next time.
Yeah, which is literally in an hour because we have another conversation.
You have not watched my videos, have you?
No.
You don't know my punchline.
No, I have no idea.
Okay, it's till our next video. Keep practicing. So we'll end this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, we'll try that again. Okay, so Haseeb, till our next video.
Keep practicing.